Howdy, howdy, everybody.
Howdy.
What's up, guys? How are y'all doing this evening?
I'm just amazed that I'm sitting here with just blown away. We're here with a celebrity.
Yeah. Greg? Greg's a celebrity.
No, Bruce. Bruce is the man, the myth, the legend.
I mean,
When are we going to get? Are we getting charged for this appearance?
We've got.
No, we're tagged in the video. Are we? What's that? Is that going to cost us a little bit of something? That Brian, you think?
No.
That's why everybody's watching, because you guys are on here. So
okay, we need everyone to send in super chats tonight. That way, me and Brian don't have to pay. Okay.
That's right. That's right.
Bruce, how are things? I mean, what's it like, Bruce?
Well, last week I was on, Greg, you did the Thanksgiving chat, and I was able to get on here, and we talked around what was going to happen this past weekend in my life just a little bit. So for whoever was on here last week, I had an extremely exciting weekend and a little more excitement tomorrow. So I'll kind of go into that just a little bit. I actually received, I guess it was 2 weeks ago tomorrow evening, I received an email from BYU football, which I don't know how many of you guys know, but I was on the team at BYU. Now I wasn't really a major position, but I did play long snapper for the Cougars back in the early 90s. And received an email from the football office, and I had the honor to be on the teams back then, and they were celebrating 100 years of football for BYU football this year out in Utah. And so I happened to work hard and study when I was at BYU, so I was not sure how I did it, but I was an academic All-American, and so they invited a few of us back to be able to participate in what they call the Y-Lighter ceremony before the football game on Saturday night. Now, it's cold in Utah, I'll just tell you that right now. And so I was able to participate in that. My daughter and I went to the game. I flew out on Thanksgiving Day, and I got to hang out with my daughter's son Friday evening, and also at the game Saturday, also a little bit Sunday. But so I received that email, and then a couple of days before I flew out, I received another email, and this is something I've kind of always thought would be kind of neat. When BYU enters the field before the game, they have some people that carry flags. Like they have, I think it's just some students that carry like the American flag and a couple of other flags, but then they have a couple or three other flags that are just kind of like they have the BYU logo on there and some different things. And so the lady, I guess, I'm not sure, I'm not sure why, but she sent me an email that said, would you like to carry a flag out on the field, leading the team onto the field before the game? And so I was able to do that. And I emailed her back and I said that, and honestly, that has been a bucket list item for me. I never thought that would ever happen. Never really imagined that. And so I always thought it would be kind of cool. And I wondered how you got that gig. And so I was able to participate in that and just had an amazing experience in Utah. I was there from Thanksgiving Day until I flew back on Monday. I flew out Thanksgiving. So I was there like 3 days in town there in Utah. While I was out there, I was able to, Jason's out there in Utah. He's one of the Utah folks that watch the channel. And I actually met Jason when I was out there last spring. Just awesome guy. It was a lot of fun. And, but anyway, so I was able to participate in that. What the Y-Lighter ceremony is, there's a Y up on the mountain. Out west, they have letters of high schools or colleges or universities. They'll put a big stone letter up on the side of the mountain, so you can kind of identifies that spot as this is where this school is. And BYU has a big Y up on the mountain. Some people ask, why do they call BYU the Y? They call the university the Y. And part of the reason for that, or maybe the only reason for that, is when the students back in 1920 or whenever it was, way back 100 years ago, started carrying the stone up the mountain, and they whitewashed it the first time that it was up there. They had original plans to put BYU on the mountain, but when they did the Y first and decided that was enough, and so that's all they did. And so there's a big Y up there on the mountain. It's beautiful. It's a big, huge block letter Y, and it has lights around it. So I guess for these night games, they light up the Y. When I was there, they would do it for homecoming and different things. It's a little different now. They probably still do that. But so we had a switch. Me and some other guys, a couple of them I knew from when I was there. One of them was actually the holder. Andy Boyce was the holder when I was the long snapper for punts or for kicks, field goals and extra points. And he was one of the guys that was there with me. So I got to meet him again. It was awesome. He was a receiver, but also held for the kicks. So it was really neat just to kind of reconnect with some people. And then they do it upright. I think most big colleges do this, but they just build up, and it was a night game. So there were lights, there were drones up in the sky, and they use LED lights, and the band plays, and they really build up that entrance to the team. And it was just such an honor. I mean, it was really cool. It was just just chill bumps all over the place. I was able to. But here's the thing: is they run, and I did run. I wasn't sure that I could run anymore, but we ran out there, and they had these college kids running along beside us, and there were 3 of us, a little bit older, running the flags. And when I was in the tunnel, the guy that was issuing the flags said, "Now, which one of you has this as a bucket list item?" And I had written that in my email back to them. I'm like, "Yeah, that's a bucket list item." And so they gave me the tallest flag, the white flag that had the Y on it. And the problem is there was a banner going across the field as you came on, and it was shorter than the flag was. So as I was running out, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, what am I going to?" I don't know what I thought, but I was afraid I was going to hit that banner and take the banner out with the flag. So I kind of hit the flag and hit the banner and tipped the flag back, and then kept running. And pretty much 120-yard. I don't know if I call it a sprint, if what I do is sprint anymore, but we were moving pretty good, and it was just a lot of fun. A wonderful experience.
Wow.
The BYU team won the game, and so that was another plus. And I forgot how loud it is in those stadiums, and man, it's just such an event, so much fun, and I really, this is a memory I'll have forever. And I just was such an honor to be able to do that. It was cold, it was. I thought it was going to be 20. I was so worried about that. Like, I was buying layers of clothes, and I bought gloves, and I was really concerned about it. And it was 30 degrees, but it just at nighttime, I don't know if it dipped down below that very much before the game was over, but the game started at 8:15, and it lasted, 3.5, 4 hours. So it was but it was just a great time. Saturday though, before the game, I got to meet Bracken Barker, who drove up north of Salt Lake there, and I was able to meet Bracken and his wife and his little girl and his mother-in-law, just really good folks. And he's just got a really cool place up there. I'm going to do a video about my experience. It's not 100% a bee video. Most of it is actually it's kind of like a vlog about the trip, but I will include some of the Bracken video there. But then I'm also probably going to do a dedicated video checking out his operation. So it'll be kind of cool. Just be looking for those videos. I was putting clips up on my editing software yesterday, and I had I think 70 or 80 clips. So I had to I'm kind of streamlining, but most of them are real short clips, but it's going to be a lot of fun. So be looking for that. It's not going to be professional grade because, it was hard to do from a distance at the game, but it was a really neat experience. So, and tomorrow, and I know this is a beekeeping chat, so we'll try to keep this short, but it's just been a really good year for me. I'm a huge football fan, and my high school team here, advanced to the state finals last Friday night. I wasn't there for the game, but watched it on from afar. And they so it's the first time since 1973 they've been to the state finals. So maybe they'll win. They lost that one in 73, but hopefully they'll win tomorrow. I'm going to be driving up to Birmingham for that game tomorrow. I wouldn't miss that it would be hard for me to miss that. Yeah, Jason says Bruce's version of The Cut. If you ever go look up The Cut for BYU, it's like an absolute cinematic video they do after every game that they win. They'll do a version of that, and it's just you can see how the atmosphere is incredible. And they may have gotten me from a distance that's kind of on the edge of the camera a little bit. No, obviously nobody knew who was out there, but it's really a cool video if you ever get a chance to watch that. That was the experience from that game that night. So, but in the game, I wanted to talk about the high school game for a reason, because there was an absolute tragedy that happened, put a dark cloud on the game the other night. We have to remember it is a violent sport. It's a rugged, a manly sport, but it also can be dangerous. And we had a kid on our team that had a pretty serious head injury in the game. Yeah. He hit a kid really hard, and he delivered a blow and received a blow and played a few more plays, and he just kind of came off the field holding his head. I ended up collapsing on the sideline a few minutes later, rushed into the hospital, had massive brain. They had to do a craniotomy on him and drain the blood out of his brain and stop the bleeding. But the good news is, and I was talking to that Friday night, I was talking to a friend of mine who he's my boss at work, and he was actually helping administer to the kid, the first aid to the kid on the field. From the time he collapsed until he was in surgery was about 25 to 30 minutes. And you think, what if this would have happened in the game they played a couple weeks earlier that was like way out in the middle of nowhere in the woods somewhere. They weren't so close to a hospital. So it was a blessing. He was rushed to Birmingham. He was flown to Birmingham after the surgery and woke up the next morning and said, "Did we win?" And so just a miracle, an absolute miracle. It looks like he's going to be okay. He's missing. He had to take off half of his skull to get in there and fix it quickly. But I think they may have put that back in today. I know he's going back into surgery today. So it was an absolute miracle. And tomorrow, of course, they've dedicated the game to him. And I don't know if he's going to be there. He may be there. If not, they're going to really play hard for him, and we'll see what happens. It really, honestly, winning a football game is fun. It's important, and we want to win. But that when those kind of things happen, just realize how valuable life is. And I think that we all have a lot to be thankful for. I know that I have a lot to be thankful for. Before I went to bed Saturday night, I just lay there in bed and I thought, I've got so much to be grateful for. And I'm so glad that I've had the life I've had. And it has to do with the experiences I've had, spiritually, the experiences I've had academically, the experiences I've had at BYU, with this chat right here, the bees, and just I've had an awesome family, a great wife, and I'm truly blessed. And so anyway, I just wanted to take a minute and kind of share those experiences with you. Last week, I kind of teased a little bit when I was on with Greg for a few minutes that there was a big weekend coming up for me. And this is a weekend, and probably a weekend as a whole, that I won't forget ever, unless I get dementia and forget everything. But
was this the first time that you got to fly across the country in the private Learjet?
It was pretty cool. They sent a private jet down here for me, and it was pretty awesome. I had to line up though, because that private jet had like 150, 200 people on there, whatever. Okay. It was kind of like a Southwest type plane, and
right.
And you had to line up in my numbers or whatever. But it was, it was really cool, man. I'm just so happy. I've just had it's like almost information overload. Almost, I'm kind of like the kid. I normally say I've got ADD, not ADHD, because I don't have a lot, and there's nothing hyperactive about me. But the last few days, I've kind of been hyped up a little more than usual. It's just been a really cool time in my life. But anyway, so that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. How about you guys? How was your Thanksgiving, Greg? Brian, Greg.
No, mine was good. My wife had to work, so we ended up eating later in the day. But it was nice. Had a good weekend and everything. So did some things with the family. We normally get together and go up actually near my brother's. Now he wasn't there; he's still down in North Carolina. But we usually go for like that small business Saturday that they do. We usually go down into Chagrin Falls. It's I don't know. It's almost like a Norman Rockwell kind of just small little town, little bit like southeast of Cleveland. So we went there and had a good lunch and everything. So, but no, it was good. My daughter had to work on Thanksgiving. So Sunday, I ended up cooking a turkey, and we had kind of like a little Thanksgiving here. So, but it's been good. That's about all that's been going on here, just because it's been cold. I don't think we've gotten above 32 degrees in the last week or so at least. So like today, when I was walking the pup out, it's like, come on, buddy, you better hurry up, because the wind chill, it was like 11.
Yeah, you can have it. You can keep that.
Yeah, it's just been so cold, and I still have my fondant is actually sitting right in front of me there. I just haven't gone over. It's been so cold that I'm like, they're hunkered down. They're when it's this cold, they're not going to be moving around anyways. So, I'm waiting. We've supposed to, I think Monday we're supposed to hit 47, and then Tuesday I think we're going to have 53. So we'll go from single digits. I think tonight they said wind chill's supposed to go down to like 6 or 7. And then Monday we'll be in the 50s.
Yeah, that's what happens here. Just add about 30 degrees to that.
Yeah. So I'll get that fondant on them. I'm hoping to get it on here within the next few days. So I've got my next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are going to be busy. I've got like a weekend long market It's the big market that I do where they coordinate with like the city of Youngstown with their tree lighting ceremony, and they have a parade and everything. And the market that I do, they arrange it with the city so the vendors can set up down there. So it's really busy. I got to be down there at like 1 o'clock on Friday and set up, and then that goes till 9. And then Saturday morning, I got to be back down there at 7 a.m. just because then they have a market all day Saturday and then half the day Sunday. So busy. But that's about it. I mean, as far as my beekeeping, it's just getting things ready for the market, and I just got to play it by ear and see how the temps go so that I can get over, because I really don't want to pester them when it's this cold. It's just
Sure.
I could do more
We
damage than anything.
Yeah, when I went to Bracken's, I think it was 24 degrees that morning. I was up there, so
Yeah.
it's pretty cold. And we peeked in a couple of hives. They were really clustered tight, so I didn't film a lot of beekeeping, but we did walk around and look at some things. But Greg says Greg's got a little cough going, so if he has to mute it for a minute, that's okay. Greg, talk to us, man. How was your Thanksgiving, and where are you at with everything this week?
I had a great Thanksgiving. Got lots of pie, lots of time with family, and got to tell a bunch of folks that I've got a buddy who's got like some pumpkin pie privilege that I think he needs to check, where I need to learn how to take advantage of the individual personal pan pumpkin pies with a big spoon, just digging right in the middle and just owning the whole thing. We had a great time. I'm a little bit in a weird fog, so bear with me tonight. We've been one of the things that's really important for us to do is make sure that we get time. There it is. Oh, there's Brian's look at that thing.
That's my own pie right there.
Nice. How long did it last?
A couple days, actually.
Wow. Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I had a couple pieces of the Toll House pie I was telling you about. That was Kentucky Derby pie, man. My mother-in-law made some of it. I think she was the one that made it, but it was at her house, and I showed up Thursday night after all the festivities were over and had a little Thanksgiving dinner. But I had, that pie. I love it.
Is it warm, or is it warm, room temperature, cold when you eat it?
It's good either way, but I like to warm it up a little bit, putting some ice cream on there.
Gosh.
Yeah. You can imagine like a hot chocolate chip cookie with like ice cream on top of it, but it's even better because it's pie.
Wow.
So it's really good. Anyway.
Wow.
That's what you need is like a monstrous, like I'm talking like 8-inch round, like half-inch thick, warmed chocolate chip cookie with like
some vanilla bean ice cream.
With like a giant scoop, of ice cream on top of it.
Nice hot black cup of coffee from TNT Roasters. Oh my goodness, it would be absolutely in there. I'm a little out of sorts. Thanksgiving is obviously awesome. Here in Ohio, what follows Thanksgiving, the first Monday after Thanksgiving for the entire week is open season on white-tailed deer. So. It's as busy as everything is. We always try to make sure we get time with the kids out doing some hunting. So today was a cold one, 18, 19 degrees, 15 to 20 mile an hour winds, it seemed. And it was just cold. No deer moving today. I mean, everybody's hunkered down, but we've already got a couple hanging. Annie got out her first hunt. Her first hunt where she's holding the gun and making the calls and making the decisions. She bagged a beautiful 8-point buck on kind of during the opening day time period that late that evening there. So anyways, it's been great. I was sitting out there today with Ben, and we got skunked. Nothing going on out there at all. Got home. Susie had some fresh chili made, and here's all I know. I ate the chili. I was so tired. The kids they went to church. The TV was on. I lay down on the couch after eating that chili, and I woke up just a few minutes before we were supposed to be on here. I woke up feeling groggy and lost and like in a deep dream, but I had this feeling something about the stream and Bruce and Brian. And I woke up to Dog the Bounty Hunter on the TV. And I woke up in this weird grog that I still can't quite shake, but being out in the cold all day long and then eating and then hitting the couch. So that's where that's where I'm at today. But anyway, weird place to wake up to. But anyways, Bruce, sounds like you had a great time. And that's what a special opportunity that was for you to be able to be back a part of the school again. And what a cool thing. So the bees, it's cold. We're heading out of the we never made it. We were thinking about maybe taking some bees down south this year. But it's just so busy here prepping for the conference, so busy building boxes and wax dipping and all that. There was just no way. Here I am walking past these colonies, and I already am thinking, oh my gosh, I've got two major mistakes that I've already made. Maybe we'll get into a little bit later. Two major mistakes that I've seen that I've already made with some colonies for the wintertime. Maybe we'll talk about it a little bit later on, but that's where we're at, Bruce. That is where we are at the moment. Oh my, look at Brian, man. That is so fast. How can he do that so fast? He's a whiz, the whiz kid, man.
Hey Greg, what's up, dog?
Not much. What's up with you?
Well, awesome. Well, we'll go ahead. I see a lot of names in here in the comments that I recognize, and some I probably don't. There's no way we can recognize everybody. We appreciate you being in here, and feel free to join in the chat on the chat down there. Communicate with each other, but also feel free to ask any questions you may have. I've been seeing a lot of people posting cold temperatures, like down here. I think right now, or when we started the chat, it was about 47 degrees. So, and then tomorrow is going to be like right at 50 low 50s, I think, for the football game. And the sun, it's going to be kind of sunny, so it's going to be perfect up there in Birmingham. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, so we're not at the cold. We're not cold at all. People down here think it's cold, but I think it did get pretty cold last night. I think we were down in the like mid 20s to. I think Eric with Spirit of Toad said we were 25 this morning, and he's not far from me. And I'm not sure. I didn't look at my temperature this morning, but it was pretty chilly this morning. I know it was down around 30 at least, if not a little colder. So, but right now, so basically, the bottom line is the actual beekeeping. In most of the country right now, people really aren't in the bees that much. There it is. That's the why. Try and find a night picture, Brian, of it lit up at the night. That's really cool.
Bracken sent me that.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah,
it's awesome, man. It's really huge from the valley. It doesn't look that. It looks good size, but when you're up there on it, you can hike up to it. It's pretty darn huge. So, but yeah, so be sure and put questions in if you have any about wintertime. I think a lot of winter. Now down here, I'll be trying to. I'll be probably hitting them with OAV this month. I'm gonna probably hit them 5 to 7 days apart. Or whatever, every week, once a week for 4 to 5 weeks, probably coming up, starting either this weekend or next weekend. I'm just going to hit them pretty hard with OAV, and then at the end of that, I'll check them and see how they're looking. Also, we've got a lot of feeding going on now. I've been feeding my bees. I'll probably feed them more this year than ever. And if you see my most recent video that went up yesterday or Monday, actually went up, and I went down and visited Tyler Walker with Choctaw Bee Company. And I've mentioned him in some of my videos and on here some. He's a young guy. He's a commercial beekeeper here locally that I think he runs around 1,500 plus or minus colonies. It kind of goes up and down, obviously, throughout the year. And he's trying. I think he's probably going to grow up bigger than that. But he has a pretty cool feeding setup that he uses to be able to manage a lot. Basically, he has the potential of feeding 900 gallons of feed from his one trailer setup. He has 3 large 300-gallon totes. And he has them set up. So if you get a chance to watch that video, it really turned out good. And Tyler is really good at teaching and sharing what he's doing. And it just was interesting. So I'm thinking about doing a series maybe throughout the year where I go and visit him in his operation different times of the year and just show what he's doing and have him explain, when he's doing splits, when he's preparing nukes, when he's maybe getting him ready for pollination, just all the things he's doing with his commercial beekeeping operation. He's just really good at keeping it simple, explaining it, and he's very efficient with what he's doing. There's a Y that's lit up at night. It just like floats up in the sky, if you can see that. it's really, really cool. And when we flipped the switch, it supposedly it just lit the Y up on the mountain. So that was pretty neat before the game time. Pretty cool stuff. So anyway, that's kind of what, is going on here. Here, obviously, we're able to get in the colonies more. We do have some colder days, but then we also have some days that are 50s, 60s, even 70s at times during the winter. So we can peek in a little more, and it's not as dangerous to peek in. It doesn't get bitter cold down here like it does out there. So, but I think another part of winter beekeeping, obviously, and Greg, you're doing a lot of this now. Both of you probably are, but Greg, you're doing a lot of preparation for next year. You're doing a lot of product sales. You're really focusing on your business, your beekeeping business. And Brian, I know you've got a honey sale coming up. You're going to a market, as you mentioned earlier, and I'm always trying to sell honey year round. So everybody's a little bit different in what they're doing during the winter time. But I think maybe, guys, if you could share what your primary concerns are during winter, maybe list a couple of concerns you have, and then we'll start diving into some questions. Why don't we start with you, Brian? What are some concerns you have with your bees during the wintertime? We're kind of right at the beginning of winter now. What are some concerns you have or challenges that you have with your beekeeping operation?
Like right now, the only concern that I have is just my colonies that were not set up properly. That's it. Like right now, you can't fix anything. If you failed to prepare, if you didn't make sure that the colonies had weight, just because our weather was so crazy this year with the drought and everything like that, like right now is just, you got to ride it and then wait until the springtime hits and just do an apiary assessment and see what you lost, see what you didn't lose, and go from there. But like right now, really all I do, I start my winter prep. Oh man, it's early. It's August or so. You're looking at, well, what am I going to do with the winter? You're that early. We have to do that up here just because if you don't, if you chase, and this is taken a bite out of my rear before, chasing that fall flow. If you chase things too long, you end up not preparing your colonies, and you strip weight off of them, pulling that honey, that fall flow off, and then they don't have enough time to get weight on, and then it comes February or so and they're dead. So that's really the only concern that I have at this point. Now, mites are always a concern, but this year, I think that was about the only thing that went right in my apiary. My highest mite wash was 2. So it's like, when you're washing zeros, ones, and twos, that pretty much told me that, well, my pest management was somewhat working, but it was just all the other factors this year that bit me. But, right now, I can't honestly say that I'm concerned about much, just because I know the shape of the colonies. I've done that weeks ahead of time. I typically will assess them, and if I have to combine stuff and do things like that, that's been done several weeks ago. And right now it's just kind of like riding the wave. And the only thing, like right now, if I was newer, I like to have that fondant on them, just so that they have that, I say it's like the ice cream, and they have that dessert on there. But this year so far, with our winter how it is as compared to previous ones, we've been cold now for it's probably been close to 2 weeks. So the bees are not moving. They're, when we hit down into the teens, they're just not moving. They're not breaking cluster. So I can't honestly, like right now, say that I have like a major concern.
Yeah.
You
Your concerns were like 2 or 3 months ago.
Exactly. Yeah. My concerns were addressed months ago. And if you'll learn that, those that are newer, you'll learn that that you have to be proactive and not reactive. So see what I did there, Bruce?
Yes, for those who are coming to the Wisconsin Bee Conference, there might just
See?
be something
Might just
about
be a
that.
discussion.
Proactive versus reactive / intentional beekeeping, something along those
Yeah.
lines. So
But no,
anyway,
yeah, that's you learn that with experience. You learn that you learn how to set things up, and context is key. What I do. Yeah, right there. That's a great little quote there. But you learn over time what to do, and context is key. So what I'm doing up here is, those down south, like Bruce, you're not, your beekeeping is entirely different down there. But
sure.
you know,
For those who can't see the screen here, I put up David Little says, if you fail to prepare, then prepare to fail. And there's a lot of
yeah.
truth to that.
Oh yeah.
I know Greg, especially with the business you run, that is a something that you have to go. That's a fundamental principle in your business. You got to prepare, or else you're going to fail. So, Greg, what about you? What are some of the main concerns you have during wintertime? You mentioned a couple things that you should have done a little better. What kind of explain some of that to us, and what kind of counsel would you have for others who, right now in the wintertime, kind of just what would you say to that?
Yeah, great quote there that David Little posted up. And shout out to Mr. David Little. I usually talk to him once or twice a year, and usually get him some enjoy shipping him some queens down to his place. They're a great guy. There's so many folks here. I would want to just quickly say thanks. I know there's no way I can scroll through the comments here, but I noticed there was a lot of familiar names and folks in the comments here that have placed their Endura Hive wax dipped special orders for the Bee Expo. So that's really appreciate that. So thank you for doing that. I'm glad some of you, the orders just came in the last day or two as we're starting to wind down the pre-order. So the Endura Hive wax dip specials are going to be ending soon for the Bee Expo. So keep that in mind. nature'imagefarm.com. The preparing to fail is, it seems like it's really easy to just kick the can down the road and just wait to address a problem until it's a problem. And that's that's sometimes maybe an easy way to go. It's hard to put the work in to make everything happen the way that it needs to, so that it's a productive asset moving forward. One of the things that there's two major issues that I seen, mistakes that I made. It's not going to be catastrophic as a whole, but I'll probably lose, I don't know, a couple little groupings of colonies. One of the things I think that we're all guilty of is burning the candle at both ends, and then in between as well, or holding the candle in between while it's burning on both ends. And you just, no matter how well we think we're doing with the bee yard or with whatever aspect of your business or growth, there are always opportunities to do better, to tighten things up. There are lost opportunities. There are opportunities that you did capitalize on that were important. Some things that I missed this year is, as we're, carrying guns and walking through the yard, just enjoying time with the kids and hunting and all that, it wasn't the time to fix it, but I noticed it. I got a handful of colonies that still have bucket feeders on. That's first major problem. These were buckets that were added so long ago that I don't even know why the bucket is still on there, other than sometimes, we develop habits where when we are taking the buckets when they're empty, we'll flip them, or if it's too cold, we'll just flip the buckets over and leave them on the colonies. And we used to put them on during the wintertime. Well, I never got around to actually just pulling all of the buckets off all of the bees. So, at first glance when you're cruising through there, you just seems like it's just a bucket that's not turned down to feed. It's just sitting on there. And no, today I noticed there were a couple that absolutely had feed on top of the colonies. And I'm thinking, great, So hopefully those handful of colonies, those would have been fed, at a time in the fall. There shouldn't have been anything left in the bucket. It should just be an empty bucket glued down to the lid. That's what I'm hoping. So anyone who uses bucket feeders are, in my opinion, probably the single most handiest form of feeding, and one of the biggest game changers for feeding, because you don't have to get into the hive. You don't have to take up frame space with the frame feeder. You don't have to risk having all that liquid volume right over top in a hive top feeder. It's just an extremely beneficial feeding mechanism, and the buckets last a very long time when you treat them accordingly. Um, one of the big things that I seen, and I don't even, it's a major mistake that I made. One of the major mistakes that we made is not taking off. You ready? I'm going to get in trouble for this, guys. Not removing the queen excluders.
Oh,
Now,
man.
what do you think is going to happen with a colony that are story and a halves with a queen excluder over the deep,
Oh,
under
boy.
the medium? Not good. Not good. If those bees have tried to get up from the deep up to the honey super for food this early, and they could have, they can absolutely strand their queen and leave her down below and absolutely freeze to death. That's the major concern. Now, in that scenario, I have to think back, you knucklehead, how in the world did you let that slip by? Well, what it would have been were colonies that we had already either pulled a super off and stuck one on just to see what they would do. And that would have happened so early in the season that deep would have been full, but that medium would have also been full. They should have had plenty in the deep to stay put, as long as I can get out there and remove that. And people are going to think, what, you're gonna go out in the middle of winter and pull off a queen excluder? Spirit of Toad asks, why is it a half story and a half? I don't know, that this could be one of those short story longs. I'm actually thinking about doing this, getting some special guests on here, like maybe Mr. Tom Sosman, and we'll just go on a tear and just do the short story long episodes where it's just 4 hours long format, where we just take a very simple thing and just uncover it from all angles. I could do that easily with what I just did there, but in short, if that's even possible, story and a half is just, it's a deep and a medium. So a medium, it's not really half of a deep, but a story and a half is one deep, one medium. That's my target for overwintering here in Ohio, even when it's 5 degrees. That's just seems to be what does well for our race of bees, again, configuration. So anyways, we have some colonies that have queen excluders on. They would have been from colonies that we pulled supers on, that they never had filled those supers on. So we left them just in case goldenrod hit, just in case it hit, just in case it hit, just in case it hit. And then we never got around to actually going through, digging down, breaking every colony down, removing every queen excluder, removing every bucket. And guys, look, 4 2/3. Yes, that's it, Brian. These things happen. I don't care who you are. I don't know. I don't care how tight of an operation you think you run. There is always that lid or that feeder or those frames that you left out or this or that and da 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 da. But Brian kind of touched on it. There's this beautiful little thing that happens, and it's called perspective. And as I'm cruising through today, opening day was Annie. She got a beautiful buck. Our son Luke, Annie had the longest shot at 153 yards that we've had on anything. Nailed it, and brought down a beautiful big buck. Luke the next day is following in his sister's footsteps, 160 yards, and got himself a nice deer. And today I'm out with Ben, and now Ben is pumped up, amped up. Everyone's getting deer. Now it's his turn. We totally get skunked. Super windy, super cold. The deer are just hunkered down. And so as we're walking through, I'm just enjoying the footsteps, like literally enjoying every footstep and just walking with Ben out, coming back from a hunt. I could care less about the queen excluder. I could care less about the bucket. Yeah, it was a mistake. Yeah, we'll fix it. But in that brief moment where I see what's going on, I have this quick thought, and this quick little thought is this very long, complex encyclopedia of ideas and themes and methods. And Brian, you already mentioned it. At this point, I could care less which breeder queens are pulling through. I could care less which colonies are looking strong. I could care less which colonies are overcome with mites. I could care less which ones have a queen excluder, because the winter is the ultimate metric on sorting through it all. It tears the scale. And now as you come out of the spring, you are left with everything that not just survived Mother Nature, but survived you. We've spent the last 10 years building bees that not only survive nature, but more importantly, they survive the beekeeper. And I think that's what makes our genetic line special. And every year, it's always something. We try to figure it out and do better and get over that. But anyways, that is just a medium story. Short, long, anyways.
Hey, Brian, I just sent you a picture from Bracken, or that. Let me just, I wanted to, can you, oh, wait, hold on, wait. Let me send this to you. It's even better. Keep talking, Greg. I'm going to send a picture to Brian here. You know what, I might can just, hold on, I might be able to let me just pull it up here, see if I can get it. So,
a lot of comments going by there quick, Bruce. Hard to catch up there.
This is Bracken. This is Bracken and his little girl, Stella. She is such a cute little girl, and I met her Saturday at Bracken's place, and this is what he said about her. Because I met her, and she's just as cute as she can be. She said, let me see if I can pull it up here. Stella's sitting here saying your name and saying, hi, Bruce. Haha. She's waving to you, too. LOL.
Aww.
Hi, Stella. Everybody say hi to Stella.
Hi, Stella.
She is such a cute little girl.
Make sure you cookies and milk right before bed.
I just gotta say this about Bracken, man. He's got it going on up there. He has yeah, there she is. That's in the truck. That's my picture I took of her. She was in the backseat of the truck riding around with us for a little while there. She's just so cute and so sweet. But I'm gonna tell you, Bracken's a blessed man. He's got an awesome situation out there. He's got a beautiful farm, family farm that he's running the farm. He's gonna, his dad still works on the farm some, and then Bracken's he's out there working as well along with his full-time job. He's got a awesome wife and beautiful kids, just a great family, and man, he's got it going on. It was just really cool going out there and seeing, I've met him. He came down and helped me, but to go out and see him in his situation was just a neat experience. He's building a house right now, and he's excited about that. So it's just a cool time in his life. So Bracken, thanks for sending me that picture, man. Thought I'd give you a shout out here on the stream team. But anyway, so I do want to tell everybody, before we get off of here tonight, I do have a prize I want to send somebody. It's actually 3 parts, and if Stan's still on here, Greg, I'm not sure what you call this. I know what it does, but I don't know what the name of it is. But it
looks like a plucker finger.
It's a plucker finger for chicken plucker, whatever. I guess it goes in a machine that plucks the feathers off of chickens when you're processing chickens, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, Stan sent me a bag of these probably a couple of years ago, and I use one. It fits perfectly in the end of a smoker, and so when you're between yards, you stick it in the end of the smoker. It doesn't smoke a lot. It doesn't the cars behind you don't get, Anyway, it just it plugs up the smoker. Perfect smoker plug size. It's awesome. So Stan, anyway, I'm gonna give this away. It's what they use. Eric. Spirito's asking what it is. It's like they put them in machines, I think, when you pluck chickens somehow, and it just grabs the feathers off the chickens. I don't know. I've never seen one in action, but it works great in a smoker. The second thing I'm going to give away in the same pack, these are all going to one person, because I'm just going to do it's a 3-part. This is a little candle. Started making these little candles. It's a little bear climbing on a skip, I think it's called, and it's just a cute little thing. And I burned one of these that lasted almost 4.5 hours, believe it or not. Wow. Pretty awesome little beeswax candle. And then we finally, I think, got the recipe right on our.
Oh! Wow! Look at that.
On here. So
he's on fire.
It's like a kind of a high, mild to low medium heat, and it's just right. I think it'll be a popular flavor for folks. What I did was I turned it over to my wife, and she got it right. So it's amazing how
Imagine
that
that.
works. But she
Imagine
got it
that.
right, and it turned out really good. I think so. I'm gonna give that away here a little bit later in the chat. So hang tight, and we probably won't be on here too much longer, but just hang tight, and someone's gonna win those 3 items. So let's go to let's just answer
That
a
would
few
be good on
questions.
fried chicken, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think people it's really good. I've tried it on pizza. Now I haven't tried this more version with more heat, but even the mild, really super mild stuff we had was really good on pizza. So I think I'm not a huge spicy guy. I mean, I like a little bit like mild heat or whatever, but so it's not something I would have ever used before. But I did. It was really good on some pizza, and I think whoever sent it to, just whoever wins, just let me know what you thought whenever you try it out. See if you like it. I think you will. I think it's pretty good flavor. But anyway, so let's go in here and answer some of these questions. We had a few questions pop up. We'll go back up. But first of all, I really appreciate Greg, the super chat you sent for $19.99. Thanks, man. I appreciate your friendship. No paint, no hassle. No paint, no rot, no hassle. Endura Hive. I've ordered a pallet of Endura Hive boxes, the Propola Hive, and I look forward to incorporating them in my operation.
Miss Lisa is on here, Bruce, and she is now the newest member of the Endura Hive Skid Club. She's on the Alabama delivery. There's a couple other Dennis Sherrill's on here tonight.
She got a skid. Did her and Lynn split a skid, or is she getting a whole skid?
She's investing in the future of her business.
Wow, if she's getting the whole skid of them, man, she's gonna grow.
Yep.
All right, man. Brian, I appreciate you. Wow. Bruce, Superstar All-American. Appreciate that, Brian. Thanks, man. Listen, when it says I was academic All-American, I wasn't good enough actually on the field to be an All-American. I had to study to get the honor. So anyway, but it's pretty cool. It's funny how when you go to the BYU football office, or you go to the Hall of Fame there, they've got the academic All-Americans, and they all fit like on a reasonable sized plaque, whereas the All-Americans, there's more of them. So it's it was kind of cool to be honored that night. And for those who missed out, this past weekend was phenomenal. If you go back and watch the first part of the video, I kind of talk about some things that happened. Some things are coming up tomorrow. Awesome times. And so anyway, but I thought we'd just run down some of these questions and comments here, some that we starred. The first question is, it's a great question, actually. What is the optimal temperature you shoot for when you do OAV, oxalic acid vapor? Bruce, Brian, I'm sure Greg as well. I've heard that 40 degrees is optimal. Brian, what do you think, man?
I always like around mid 40s.
Okay.
And really, like, it just boils down to, you don't want them clustered. If they're moving around some, then you're good. But if they're tightly clustered, then it's just, in my mind, it's no bueno. So
yeah.
But that's all I do. If you see them moving, you're good.
Greg, what do you think, man?
That's the idea. I like to. You want the bees home for the OA to work and to be effective, but you don't want them to be all home to where they're all tightly clustered, and then the OAV is ineffective. So I go for a loose cluster. So for me, when it's at least our bees, when it's 45 degrees outside, you're starting to see bees kind of flirt and come down to the landing board and kind of check things out. When it gets into that 46, 47, more so, when it gets to 50, 51, some are starting to really come out and fly. I think an easy way is the coldest temperatures that you see your bees flying is, I think, a safe bet to go ahead and treat them with OAV. It's just a super ideal time. And right now, this time of year is a great time to get out there and do it. Here in Ohio, we've talked about it ad nauseum. We're going to go from 18, 17, 16 with wind chills, maybe down into the 10s or so at night, to like we're going to be hitting like 50, 53 degrees. I think it's next week. It'd be a good time for me to get rid of my queen excluders, maybe get the buckets off, but just rough to be the bees up and down, up and down, up and down. So anyways, 40, I think 40 is cutting it pretty close. I think 40, it still might be a little tight of a cluster, but I think 45 is kind of that target area there. But OAV, what a great tool for this time of year. And we just got resupplied on our Mike's Easy Ox tablets and the powder that are on our website now. So if you are happen to be looking for the highest quality of salic acid, check us out at nature'simagefarm.com. What a great product, made right here in Ohio by a military veteran, and the registration approved by the EPA. It's a big deal. So
next question, and this is somewhat controversial for some people, not only for me, but for some people. Stan Gore asks, you feed corn syrup, Bruce? And he got this, I think, from the video I did with Tyler Walker, the commercial beekeeper who feeds primarily corn syrup. I know last year he actually got a tanker. He gets his food by the tanker load. So last year I think he got a tanker of sucrose syrup for a really good price, and he used that. I think he probably prefers that, but he feeds primarily corn syrup. What he does, if you watch the video, and I don't know if this will work for everybody everywhere, but it works around here. And he has made thousands of colonies of bees using his recipe of corn syrup. He mixes 50-50 corn syrup and water. He feeds really quickly when he does it. Usually, like he mixes and then he goes out and feeds, and he feeds hundreds of colonies at a time, lots of times. We fed 54 like in 20 minutes that day we filmed the videos. So he's got a system that really goes fast and works well. But he has grown a lot of bees. He has healthy bees. He sells lots of nukes, and he sends bees off to almonds, and he makes a lot of honey, and he does everything. And so I think ideally, my opinion kind of is that sucrose or regular sugar syrup is probably the best food for bees. But a lot of people use the corn syrup. A lot of commercial guys do with tremendous success. And so there are people who will say I know Bob doesn't typically use corn syrup. There are people who say you should never feed, Bob Benny. People say you should never feed corn syrup, but a lot of beekeepers do, and they have success with it. I know, Greg, you use the Pro Sweet, which is a phenomenal product as well. But Tyler just doesn't have time to mix sugar syrup. He just doesn't have time to do that. I think he likes to have the syrup come in, then mix it to his density or thickness, and then apply it, feed it to the bees. He will put some thymol in there and mix in some other things, a little bit of, believe it or not, bleach that helps keep the honey from fermenting. Also, he said he put some essential oils in this particular batch, but he that's just how he does it. It works well for him. And so I've actually been getting my syrup from him, and it's been working well with my bees as well. And but I think the ideal thing to use is the sugar syrup, but you do what you got to do, and it works well for him. So, and for me, so who am I to say any different? Thoughts Greg? Go ahead, Brian.
If I got one of those large totes, like what Greg has and other people have, like I saw in the video, that would probably last me like 5 years.
It does. Well, that is one of the benefits about using Pro Sweet over fructose, or high fructose 55. 55 is, I used 55 for a couple years. The bees build up. They did fine. It solidifies over the wintertime. It kind of separates, where a Pro Sweet doesn't. It stays a little bit more stable. But it's funny, it doesn't matter. Everyone, I think, is looking for the answer, and I think you're not going to find it. A very quick story on this is, here I am with Bob Benny, and we're down at Chris Warner's place, filming these series of videos, and Bob mixes up dry granulated sugar and gets it, pallets of it, semi-loads of pallets of sugar, and he has the crew, and he has the big bakery mixer to do that, and it's set up and it's efficient in that way. Bob's not mixing just one little bag, or a 10-pound bag here and 10. It's a lot at a time, and so that's the way he does it. And he's talks about that's the way that he prefers. That's the way that they do, and on and on and on. And goes into them thinning it down and the reasons why. And hey, everyone's got their own ways of doing it. So here we are. We're at the Warner's place, and we're holding the camera and just going through. And Bob's asking the guys this, and he goes, so Pete, what is Pete Ellis? As you see him in that video, here's this tote of feed, right? And so Bob's asking Pete, what's in that tote of feed, and Pete knows what Bob's going to say? And Pete knows, I think, what Bob's preference is. And Pete says, well, Bob, that's just straight 55. And Bob says, hey, really? Do you thin that down, or do you feed that to him straight? And, Pete's like, well, if we get around to it, if we think about it, if we need to, we might thin it down, but otherwise we just put it on straight. And Bob's like, and did the bees do well that way? And Pete says, yep, they never complain. They're full on with it. So there is always more than one way to pluck the chicken. And I think what's important is the bee. See what we did there? This is getting scary. See, this is what happens when you wake up from a chili overdose coma on the couch. And you wake up to Dog the Bounty Hunter on the TV. You almost are wondering, what kind of weird dream am I living in, where we start making jokes and chicken pluckers show up? And I mean, it's like, but anyways, it all works. And I've said it over and over and over and over again. I 100% am telling you, without a shadow of a doubt, that if you feed bees straight ProSweet without thinning it at all, straight ProSweet, they will draw comb beautifully. They will brood up. And if you want them to store it later, they'll store it too. So every aspect, every job that I need the bees to do, they do it beautifully on thick ProSweet, undiluted. If they weren't doing that, I wouldn't be using it that way. But since they do so well, I don't have to thin it. It's not going bad. It works beautifully. That's what we do.
Greg, could you address that question about the corn syrup versus sucrose? I don't know the difference at all.
There are differences, and there are differences between some of the high fructose corn syrups, 55 versus 66 versus 77 versus possibly 80. There's slightly different solid ratios to water. Some have fructose and dextrose in there as well. So what does all that mean? Maybe it matters, but all I know is that no matter what we have thrown at them, they've done well on. We did see a slight difference in how, and it seemed that the bees did better on ProSweet than straight 55. They just I think there was a little bit more nutritionally going on for them, the digestibles, things like that. But if you're in a part of the country and you can't get ProSweet and you can get 55, I will all day long would be ordering a tanker of fructose 55 to not have to mix by hand granulated sugar. But anyways,
yeah, I think it's, I can't imagine what Bob Benny's mixing setup looks like, but I just can't. It takes, the setup I have works well. I have mixed up a fair amount of sugar, and if I didn't have access to the fructose corn syrup from Tyler, I would probably just go buy some sugar and mix it up. But it's just so convenient. I don't just do that. I do mix some up sometimes, but man, it's just so easy to crank up the motor, the pump, the trash pump it into my thing, add some water and go feed the bees, and it works well. And I actually put Hive Alive in there with it, so that preserves it. And I had it actually preserved. I did that last spring, and I didn't feed a lot for a while there, kind of through a certain part of the season. It lasted me for a long time, and it didn't go bad, like in 2 or 3 months with that Hive Alive supplement in there. So it works really well. Bracken asked a question here. What was the name of the feed nozzle that Tyler used, and where did he get it? Where did you get it? I've got one of those as well. It's called a Bradshaw feed nozzle. I think you could probably just type in Bradshaw bees or Bradshaw feed nozzle for bees. They've got, I think, a 2-foot one, I believe, and then a 3-foot one. I have the 3-foot one. If you watch the video I just posted a couple days ago with the commercial beekeeper Tyler Walker, and my feeding videos have mine in there as well, but it's just such a convenient, oh man, it works so well. And so that's, if you want to type it in, get one of those that works well. It's just, a lot of people use the gas pump handle, and that works fine too, but this, you stand up straight, you just stick it down there. It has the ball valve is in the end of the, right down by the feeder. So when you turn it off, there's like 2 drips and it's done. There's no food still in the nozzle. It's right down. It's just like that much at the end, like the very tip of it. So it works really good. It's really efficient and works extremely well. It's easy on the back as well. Let's see what else we got here. We've got will the Endura Hives be available for purchase at the expo?
Absolutely. We're going to have some special lines of Endura Hive that are not on the website for expo pricing that will be available there. We'll have our full line of Endura Hive equipment, tops, bottoms, boxes, you name it. A couple other aces up our sleeve when it comes to that. So we're looking forward to showing those off at the expo. So definitely check us out. Looking forward to seeing everybody there for sure.
Zach Heinzelman says Bee Botanicals. I think that's the actual website where you get those Bradshaw feeders, Bee Botanicals. But I think I typed in Bradshaw feed bee feeder or something, and it popped up. So you can find it. But Bee Botanicals, BEE Botanicals, I think .com is probably the website for that. That's what Tyler told me as well. Let's see right here. Stan says, love the honesty on this chat. Just goes to show you most of us are goobers, and that's a good thing. Fun. Stan, if you're not a member of Texas Friendly Beekeepers, you need to go join that group. Stan does a great job there, and it's got, I think, 10, 12 or more thousand people in that group. And man, what a great job. And they have something that they call a goober. And it's people that do what we all do with bees. We all make mistakes and do kind of silly, dumb things, and they have fun with it over there. So yeah, just goes to show you most of us are goobers, and that's a good thing. I love it, Stan. Thank you.
Good work, Stan.
Let's see. We have D Fortune 0813 says, I'm a new beekeeper from Goshen, Alabama. That's just up kind of by Troy. That's probably not far from where Grayson lives. I'm not sure exactly where he lives in relation to Troy, but it's a few miles west of Troy, Alabama, probably a little over an hour from here. And it says, been attending the bee meeting in Ozark, Alabama. That's where Lisa lives, and that's the meeting she goes to, her and Lynn Hughes. It says, and I've heard a lot about Bruce and his bees. You guys are providing wonderful information for us all. We appreciate that, and good luck with your bees. Hopefully you'll have a really good year in 2025. Let's see. We've got Carmen Fiola. Vince Lombardi said, perfection is not attainable, but if we chase perfection, we can catch excellence. I love that. That's really good. Thanks for sharing that with us, Carmine. That's true. It's if we don't ever try, then we'll never get better. But if we are striving to be the best we can be, we will be able to achieve excellence and achieve much more than if we just sit on the couch and don't even try. What do y'all think about that?
I like it. I like the idea of it. Here's what I'll say, just as maybe a little sidebar to that. Another similar quote that I think speaks to me directly from Joel Salatin, the lunatic chicken farmer that everybody see. Right back to chicken pluckers. Right back to chickens again. I don't just look at that. Just clucking away here. He's known for saying, perfect is the enemy of good. And I know that is me to a T, where a lot of times we are striving for perfection and nothing else will do. And sometimes that is us stepping over $1 to pick up a quarter, spending 10 times as long to recreate an old rusty, dusty wheel that's already been there and done that. We are trying to find ways to sometimes make things harder than they have to be. But I think if you start with something that is solid and is good, and then build from there, I think that is, in my opinion, a far better approach than to only accept perfection. Because a lot of times, the idea, I can tell you here on the homestead, how many times have I had an idea of doing something, building something, whatever, and it was do or die. Like that was the thing, and we head in that direction. We go to do it, and then if we were only to accept that as the thing, do or die, it gets in the way of all of these little happy little accidents, as Bob Ross would say, that pop up when you're in that mode or that zone of creating or doing or building. Sometimes the thing that we think we're chasing, that of perfection, is really, it's almost kind of like that thing to just get us down the road, and then we actually find the thing that speaks to us, or we find that little trick or the tool or the thing that helps us be successful, more successful even than whatever wild idea we had about things. So perfection is not obtainable, but if we chase perfection, we can catch excellence. I think it's another way of saying, let's not get hung up on only existing where everything has to be perfect. Definitely do your best. Definitely go all in, but just know that perfect sometimes is the enemy of good if we're not mindful of what good really looks like.
Brian, you got any thoughts on that?
I don't have any thoughts.
You didn't even
You're
wake
just
up
sitting
in
there.
a chilly grog,
just
man.
sitting
Maybe
there.
it's time to. What's going to happen tonight, though? If I go home and eat another bowl of chili before I go, actually, I can't do that. I'm getting old to where I can't eat this late going to bed because anyways, it's a thing.
I saw that quote from Vince Lombardi, and I don't know why. And like, I'm not like a huge basketball fan. Just
I thought Vince Lombardi was hockey.
No, he was.
You guys got to know who he was,
Soccer.
right? Honestly, you have to know who he was.
Right. That
Tell
said,
me you're joking. Tell me you're joking if you don't know who Vince Lombardi was.
Greg
Shuffleboard champ.
That said, I always, when I hear or see quotes like that, I always think of a quote that Michael Jordan said. And he said, and I mean, like, everybody knows Michael Jordan and how he was. But this quote, I had to look it up that way. I didn't get it wrong. It says, I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to make the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed.
You sure it's not LeBron James?
That's LeBron.
It's probably all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michael Jordan. He was a GOAT. There you go.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, you think of all of the times that he's failed.
What is it? Shoot for the stars, aim for the moon, or is it aim for the moon, shoot for? That's the idea. Is let's head in that direction, but let's I don't know. Anyways,
but that definitely applies to beekeeping because obviously we all, we all have a vision of where we want to be, but if we never start, if we never try, then we won't accomplish anything, and that's just how life is. So,
what'd Brian say?
I didn't say anything.
Wasn't my.
Michael Jordan?
Now that I think about it, if we look it up, I wonder if Vince Lombardi is the Ohio State champion, the college pickleball champion coach.
Pickleball.
I think he coached the pickleball team, didn't he?
Pickleball. Yep.
The coach the Ohio State Kosher Kings is, I think, when that. Yeah.
Let's see here. I really appreciate this. This is awesome. Midwest Honeybee Expo. Appreciate the super chat, super sticker. That's awesome, and definitely we'll put it to good use. Thank you so much. Appreciate the great folks we have in here in the show tonight. And Spirit of Toad, he said, I want some of them Endura Hives. So Greg, maybe he could reach out to you, or maybe you could reach out to him, but maybe you can make that happen. I know you're bringing a bunch down here, so Eric, if you need some of those boxes, I'm sure Greg could throw some on the trailer for you. Just gotta get
maybe if it's just one or two you want to try, we'll be down in Alabama here for 2 months longer.
That goes for anyone right here in this area in the southeast Alabama, southwest Georgia. You can drive over here to Dothan area. I'm not sure where Greg's going to stop, but right here in this area, if you're anywhere within an easy driving distance, get in contact with Greg. It doesn't have to be a whole skid or a whole pallet, but you need to do it now because those prices, you can't keep those prices down for much longer. So if you want to do it, I guess even if the prices are high, you can throw them on the trailer. He's got some room. So anyone wants some Endura Hive boxes to give a try? I actually ordered the top of the line Propola hives. I paid a little more for them, but I'm going to give those a shot. It wasn't ridiculously more for the price we got them for the price that it's at right now. But it was, I've got a skid of those coming in frames, and so I'm excited to give them a try and really incorporate those into my operation. I've got a couple, but my old boxes, the wooden boxes, are starting to rot, and I want to replace them as they do rot. And hives are going to last the rest of my beekeeping career, and I believe the Endura Hive will do it. So Eric, if you're still on here, if you listen to this later, just get in contact with Greg.
Bruce, and, one of the things about those boxes is this week as we're out hunting, we've got this little place in one of the yards there where the bees are all cleaned up and out of there, but there's still a skid of equipment out there. As you stack up the boxes and they go into themselves, they're wax dipped, so they I don't need to go put them under the roof. Well, here's this beautiful stack of boxes that are out there right in this intersection where like 4 massive AT or side by side and deer trails kind of all converge. And we've had this pine tree that we cut up and a big blowdown, and you kind of stack it up between the trees, and it creates its own deer blind. And so as I've got Annie out in one of the stands, I walk all the way down to this area here. And what do? I grab an Endura Hive box off the stack, stick it behind those stacked up pines, and I'm sitting there and I'm realizing, I wonder what happens if I like forget about this box. I just leave this box here. And then one of the kids find this mysterious box stuck behind this old deer blind, this homemade deer stand there. It was an interesting thought there. So Endura Hive boxes, they work. You can sit on them too. They work great in the deer blinds. So, but,
well, I do know it's particularly the Pura Hive boxes are just super sturdy. They're very sturdy. The few I have are just really well built, and then you add the wax dip on there. And I told this story before on the chat. Me and my buddy Boyd May over in Enterprise, he ordered some mixture of microcrystal and paraffin a few years ago, and he had a wax dipping tank built, and we played around with it. And I still have those boxes, a lot of them, and they are they weren't using I don't know what Greg's recipe is, but they weren't the same recipe as that. And they are getting kind of dark in color, wearing out a little bit from that perspective. As far as like rot, they are not rotting at all. Some of those boxes are probably 4 years old, maybe more, and they haven't even started to rot a bit. And that's not even using the method that Greg uses. So I'm a fan of the wax dip boxes. I know that's Eric on here, Spirito, said he's used the copper stuff, and I have some copper dip boxes that do okay, but I don't think anything will compare to the wax dipped Endura Hive boxes. Yeah, Eric says he's enjoyed the stream. Appreciate it, guys. We appreciate you, Eric. Thanks so much. Eric lives just literally due east of me, probably maybe an hour. I'm not sure if it's even that far over there, but he's just over in the kind of right down there, South Georgia area, just right there, just east of Alabama, just north of the Florida line, if I'm not mistaken, just right there in that southwest corner of Georgia. Eric also asked, he says, can I post this to the club? I want to try some of those boxes. So I'm sure you'll say yes to that, Greg. You'd like him to, as many as you can get. If you're making a trip, you might as well throw some
absolutely. Yeah. Yep. And for anyone listening, if you need a skid of boxes, it is no problem for us to get those to you via LTL, Liftgate, you name it. We can ship boxes all over the country. So that's no problem.
But if you're bringing them anyway and you can avoid some shipping, that would be great. Anyway,
absolutely. If you're going to be in the Alabama area, for sure.
Greg, while you're talking about this, how can people get in touch with you to coordinate this kind of stuff? What do they need to do? Like if Eric wants to get up with you, or if anybody else wants to get up with, how can they get in contact with you?
Eric knows how to personally get a hold of me. Folks who haven't ever reached out before, the solid way is to go to our website, naturesimagefarm.com, hit the About Us. You'll find my number is right there. You can also shoot me a direct email that we'll get and flag, and we can go back and forth that way. But that's what we do. We're looking for ways as a large family of beekeepers. We had to find a way to protect our investment with our beekeeping equipment, and paint just wasn't a part of that program. And so we've put together a really great way to preserve these boxes for a very long time. Yeah, great job, Brian. There's how you can reach us. Just shoot us a message right there, the About Us, and we'll get in touch with you for sure. Whether that's getting you a skid shipped to Utah, or if you want to on this Alabama equipment run that we're putting together. If we get other folks who are interested in different parts of the country, like let's say a group of folks in North Carolina or Vermont, or you name it, if we can get enough folks put together, we'll make the trip, personally deliver then too. We're really excited about these boxes. We really believe in them. That it's not just a standard wax dip box that you're going to find or see anywhere else. It's a completely different method. It's the highest quality wax that you can even begin to put together. And it's not a wax blend that we buy that's pre-done. It's a far superior wax. It's for a lot of reasons that we go to the extent to spend the money on this very high grade blend of microcrystalline waxes. We bring the microcrystalline in, we blend it ourselves to our specifications, and we have a certain process that no one else does, that we really feel has the highest amount of impregnation of the wax itself. It has the best finish. You know, I could go on and on and on. This is one of those long stories, short story longs, but there's a lot to it. It's not just as easy as quickly buying some equipment, throwing wax in, getting it hot, and then putting boxes in. There is an absolute art and science to it. It is not formula based. It is not this temperature, this product for this time, and here's a perfect product. That is one of the fastest ways to failure. That's not how it works. But we're really proud of what we do here as a family. And we love getting those boxes to folks all across the country. As many folks know, we are the custom house for Premier Bee products. We literally wax dip semi-loads of product for them on a regular basis. And they have the highest quality product on the market, and so do we. So for us, it was a perfect collaboration to take the best boxes on the market with the best wax dipping process, and that's great. We offer those, like I said, here locally. We ship them out as well. We make delivery runs, and it's great. Spirit of Toad asks, hold up, if we can get 3 clubs together, I think he's looking to maybe get 3 clubs together. Yeah, get some bee clubs together. If you're a mom and pop supply shop, we love to talk to you as well and see if we can help get you boxes that you can sell to your customers without having to invest in some of the most basic setups, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 just to get started. That's just to get started, and your payoff is going to be 1,500, 2,000 boxes later. It's just not economical at all. We can help get you the highest quality box that you can work on selling and making the money, and not fool with trying to have a high quality product.
Ed Cook says, I tried a few last year and they're awesome. I'm loading up this year. I'm in that same situation, Ed. Or is that Ed or CD?
Looks like CD.
CD, yeah, my glasses. I'm kind of trying to, I've got these progressives. I'm getting old, but anyway, yeah, when it comes to the boxes, and even right now you've got a pretty good special going on, and I don't know what the bulk price is. And everyone, if you want boxes, you need to contact Greg directly if you want, especially a large number of boxes. But even if you have to pay full price for the boxes, you think about it, it is more expensive than just buying the cheap stuff from Man Lake or wherever, any of the big companies, and putting it together and painting it. But I will tell you this from experience, and anyone who's had bees any length of time knows, even if it's well painted, those wood boxes rot after just a few years. And I believe, if you buy these boxes, you're not going to pay triple what you would pay for a wood box, but they'll probably last 4, 5, 6 times or even longer than a regular. Probably, they'll probably last 25, 30 years. I don't know. But they're going to last a long time. They're going to last the rest of my career in beekeeping, I believe. And so it's worth, my buddy Bracken says, buy once, cry once. And that's kind of how it is with the boxes. So I totally understand if you're just trying to get started in beekeeping, you're trying to just pinch a penny here or there. But once you really get it going, it just makes sense to me to go ahead and buy the product. If you want wood boxes, to me, it's worth doing to just go ahead and just get the best that you can get. Now I know the Apamaze, a lot of people like those, like Stan, and those are phenomenal products. There are a lot of good products out there, but I'm gonna. Yep. My goal is to just transfer my operation over to the wax dip boxes from Greg as I need to. So, wow, guys, we are 100. Well, let's see. So I got to put this up. Spirit Toad says bees are a frugal bunch, and that is true.
Yep, absolutely.
Bees are too, but beaks are a frugal bunch, and that is true. However, frugal is a more frugal to have to buy, the cheapest box you can, and then have to replace them every 5 to 6 years at most. Or is it cheaper to buy up front and maybe pay twice as much? Or I'm not sure that right now it's not even that much with the deal that Greg's got. A little bit more and have them for 30 years. I guess that's the question you have to ask. But I totally get it, because when I started in beekeeping, I built some of my own boxes, and I got cheap.
Right.
I got the cheapest thing
Absolutely.
I could because I didn't have the money to spend. But now that I've kind of gotten established, I'm able to do a little better. So
I think everyone has to go through that process too, Bruce. We started off literally thinking we were saving money by cutting down the pine trees, putting them on the sawmill, cutting boards out, stickering them, drying them, hopefully drying them. Sometimes we built them green because we had all of our money tied up and time tied up in that. But the time you even go through all that aggravation and effort, and you eventually put a price tag on, even if you don't pay yourself, but you just think about what is this actually costing me to do it. A lot of times, beekeepers are just like most homesteaders. We will sometimes find a way. We'll spend $10 to create a $1 item, or we'll spend 10 hours creating or doing something that would have taken somebody else 1 hour to do, just because that's just the way we do it. But yeah, Tom at Via Honeybees there. Time is money, and looking forward to. We'll also be at the. Tom's got a workshop here coming up at the Eastern Missouri Beekeepers Association in February, and we're looking at a conference. Then we're looking at bringing Endura Hive to Eastern Missouri then too. But absolutely, time is definitely money. I want a quick shout out, Bruce, before I know we're wrapping it up. I want to give a quick shout out to Mr. Brian Zavada out there at Flower Street Farm. He sent me a beautiful box of honey. I hope to be able to get a video or showcase that. But he does such a phenomenal job with creamed honey, likes of which has never been seen. I love what he does. The flavors, the packaging, the texture, the consistency. It's just I enjoy it so much that I'm like, I don't think I ever even need to worry about like making creamed honey for me. Like, why would I do that? He's got one. I got to go through and try them all. There's a couple new ones in there I want to try. But a cacao, that's the way you say it, I believe. It's cacao. Brian, am I right? It's not cocoa. It's cacao creamed honey. It is just absolutely decadent. It is unbelievable. But Bruce, there were a couple questions in here about the prices going up on things. Folks, that is absolutely the world that we live in. And I don't mean anything by this, but I want to be 100% crystal clear that we are an American company. Okay, we are not a American company that is subsisting on importing Chinese products. That's not who we are. That is not our product line. We are not the China Co. of companies bringing things in here and then flipping them and selling them to beekeepers. That's not who we are. That's not what we do. However, you will, I would nearly almost guarantee, see a price increase on every product line, extractors, capping tanks, suits, anything that is coming over from China or overseas. I would venture to say you're going to start seeing those prices probably go up next year. So just keep that in mind. Anyways, we're American made. We're an American company. It's important. If we really want to make America great again, we might just want to think about making made in America great again. I'll get off my soapbox for now.
Well, I mean, Eric said that as you said that, he put this on there, made in the USA. So anyway, well, let's start to kind of wrap this thing up. I do want to go ahead and do a little giveaway here for those who hung in till the end of this chat or towards the end of this chat. We do have a couple minutes left, but once again, I don't know, Greg, what do you call this? Chicken.
It's a finger. It's a plucker finger. A chicken plucker finger. A chicken feather plucker finger.
So why on earth would we have this on a beekeeping chat? You guys think?
You know what that would fit beautifully in, Bruce?
What would it fit beautifully in? Oh, the smoker. See the hole into that smoker? Do you have any of these, Greg?
You know, maybe if I'm the next contestant on win a chicken feather plucker finger, I could demonstrate that. But the idea, you hold it up to the screen there. It goes right. Let's see.
It's got a wedge shape, so whatever smoker you have, it'll fit in there, and it just fits right down on the end.
Oh, that was close.
Almost got it, Bruce. I'll hold mine still. There it is.
There you go.
Look at that.
And I've got one of these. I found a stick that was perfect a few years ago, and I use that thing. I've still got it actually in my box I carry my smoker in, but I've been using this thing I got from Stangor now for probably at least a year, and it just fits right in there. Any size smoker, anything from the smaller, less expensive was up to the day dance that are just the rugged ones. It fits in there just right. So I'm going to give this away. Same person's going to get 3 items, not 3 different prizes to give away. Just same person can get all 3 of these. I've got the just started making these pure 100% pure beeswax candles. It's a I think they call it the bee climb and the skep.
Those are nice.
Perfect
I like that.
pure beeswax. And if you watch my wax processing video with the Thorn wax melter, this is wax from that video.
Well, those are made in USA product.
Yes, made in Southeast Alabama, 100% pure beeswax.
From a made in the USA wax.
And then probably the most valuable item of this deal is got some Bruce's Bees hot honey. As I said earlier, my wife finally made some, and it turned out perfect. And I tried a batch. We just had to get the right amount of peppers in there, and it's just it's made with chili peppers, and we got it just about right. It's like a mild to a low medium heat is what I would say. It's really pretty good. So anyway, this is the prize. I think, Brian, can we put in hashtag hot honey for the spin? And go ahead, and as we start to wrap this thing up, why don't you go ahead and just put in the comments. Brian's going to get this thing ready for us. And when he does,
hey, Bruce, Spirit of Toad says it'll burn for 4 hours. Is that the hot honey or the candle?
The hot honey won't burn that long, but the candle burns. The one I burned was about 4 hours and 25 minutes, and I didn't touch it.
Wow.
You know, when they burn, you can kind of put the wax in back over the wick, I think. I've only burned that one, but it probably would last at least 4.5 hours, maybe even 5 or pushing 5 if I would have. But I just let it burn straight down. I actually burned it for 90 minutes or something. Yeah, hashtag hot honey, guys. Hashtag hot honey.
Smells so good.
I actually burned it for a little while, and then it was burning so long I blew it out and burned it the next night. But a total of 4 hours and 25 minutes, give or take a couple of minutes, before it finally just the wick went out. But yeah, it's amazing to me. This thing I think is 2.5 inches tall, about 2 inches front to back, and it burned that long. So beeswax is very efficient. It burns very slow and efficiently, and it supposedly it helps clean the air. So anyway, but this is what's going to come in the package: the hot honey, the bear beeswax candle, and the smoker chicken plucker thing that you can stick in the end of your smoker. So let's just give it a couple minutes. Why don't we start to kind of wrap this thing up before we spin? Brian, why don't you go ahead and talk about what you got coming up in the next week, and keep putting it in there, guys. Or put in hashtag hot honey. Let's get some folks in here.
Yeah, I've got, like I said, I've got the market coming up Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I am going to go over. I've been meaning to get a video put together on just what I'm doing for the winter. I've seen it in like the Northeast Ohio beekeeping group, and just a couple people were asking what different people are doing, just because the wrapping and all that kind of stuff came up. And I said, well, I don't do that anymore. Don't need it. And people were like, well, what do you do? And I said, I do an insulated inner cover, and that's it. And, and that brought up questions. So I've been meaning to do that video. I just need to get over there. But my problem is the daylight savings when I work. We've been busy with work. There's some days where I'm till 5:30. It's dark. So, and to go over and do a video in the dark, I'm not going to do that. But I'm going to get that done. And then I've got next on the 12th. I think that is, next Thursday? Yeah, next Thursday at 5:00, there's a meeting with Apis Solus, the smokeless smoker. That's that electronic smoker that I have. They asked me if I wanted to jump on and just share like my year's, experience with it. And they've also got Humberto is going to be on, and Fred Dunn are also. So
appearance fees for Brian coming up here soon too, Bruce.
See?
Look at you guys.
So
good job.
I'm excited about that. I mean, they just Damien reached out and was just saying, "Hey, would you want to jump on? They're going to have this just kind of like forum and just share my thoughts about it." And I'm sold on that thing. I love using that thing just because of the ease of it. Because if I need to do one thing instead of lighting a smoker and doing all that, I literally grab that thing, I squeeze it 3 times to turn it on, do whatever I need to do real quick, and then just hold it and turn it off, and that's it. So it's for a hobbyist level, that smoker it's gold. So, but yeah, I'm excited about that. So,
Awesome.
Yeah.
Before we spin, one quick question we're going to make it quick. Jason asked, question, good idea or not to move bees in the winter? I don't know about where it's up there where it's really cold, but down here, that's the perfect time to move them because it's rarely cold enough that it would create any problems. You know, they're not, clusters so tight and it's not cold enough that they'll freeze if they break cluster a little bit. So down here, wintertime, you know, I like to move them when it's 30s, 40s, you know, is good. You know, 40s, even 50s when they're not really flying, it seems to work quite well. And moving it at night is actually really good too. That way you're pretty sure they're not going to fly. Just make sure you don't bust them open because then it gets real exciting. Anyway, I don't know about up there where you guys are. Is it not recommended really to move them in the wintertime? What do you think?
The only thing you got to worry about is if it's cold and they're clustered tight and you get them on a truck or a trailer and you bust the cluster loose and they hit the bottom board and it's too cold for them to get back to themselves, that can be a problem. But if you're in the 30s, 40s range, you know, where they can still get back up on up into cluster, you're okay. I don't know that I would go moving bees at, you know, 15 degrees Fahrenheit and it's going to stay there for a week. That might be
yeah, I agree.
Not ideal. I could be wrong.
Well, Brian, I wanted to post one more thing here. So this could have worked well. It would have eliminated some people probably. But Tom said the hashtag really should have been hashtag chicken feather plucker finger thing. That would have eliminated some people, the spelling on that. That was probably, I thought about doing something like that, but I'm like, let's just keep it simple so people can actually get the
I'm impressed that however fast I said whatever it was, they could type that out. That's smart. I wonder if that was Melissa. Oh, and by the way, in the comments here, it looks like happy birthday, Melissa. I hope Tom made you dinner, rubs your feet, lights a candle, and then you guys stay up late getting wild and crazy watching bee chats all night.
Better be careful with that. My wife's birthday is tomorrow, and I'm going to take her to a state championship football game. So,
oh my gosh,
you're a heck of a guy.
Look at you guys,
you're
romantic.
So anyway, so how many have we got on there, Brian? I think we probably got most people on there. 60. Well, I think that's a pretty good number. Let's go ahead and spin it and see who wins the hot honey / chicken plucker thingy / beeswax bear skep candle thingy.
Wow.
Jeremy Ewing.
There we go.
Hi, Jeremy. What you need to do is email me at bruce@brucesbees.com. And just email me at bruce@brucesbees.com. Send me your name and your address and information I need to know so we can get that out to you. It may be a couple or 3 days or maybe a few days before I get it out to you, but it will be in the mail as soon as I get a chance to get it to you. But I need you to email me. If I don't get an email, I won't know where to send it. So email me at bruce@brucesbees.com. All right, down here in Alabama, you know, I've talked about the football shenanigans and experience I had this past week, which was awesome. And we've got a state championship game tomorrow. I hope our team will win in honor of, first of all, in honor of the school, and then also in honor of the kid that got hurt last week that is hopefully going to make a miraculous recovery. And but as far as the bees go, you know, I'm going to be my main goal is to keep them, make sure they have food and they're not getting too light. I'll probably start applying some fondant. We didn't talk about that really, fondant on the bees in the wintertime, so I'm going to start talking about that or doing some of that here soon. I've historically done that the last couple of years, more a little bit later in the wintertime. But I'm just going to kind of be checking the bees, feeding them, just trying to make sure they have weight and treating for mites with OAV. I'm going to do, and this is not, so you only heard it here since it's just 3 of us, right? I'm going to do probably 4 grams per box. 4 grams per box every 5 to 7 days for 4 weeks is my plan. So that's what I'm planning on doing to help make sure the mites are under control, hopefully going into spring. And then this year I'm going to try to do some more testing after I do that and see how they look going into spring, because I do want to have clean bees coming in spring. Last year I thought I had them under control, but I think I ended up with some problems. And so this year I'm going to try and be on it. I'm going to try to stay on top of it better, but it gets difficult when things start busting loose in the springtime. It's hard to stay on top of everything. But videos, I'm working on a video right now of my trip out to Utah. Got to see Bracken out there and football family and fun, or football family and bees, I think is what my title of the video or something like that. But it's more of a vlog, just what happened this past weekend. We had a great time. And then I'm actually going to break out a video of me, just my visit with Bracken. I think I'm going to try to do that and just focusing on his operation a little bit. And so that's kind of where I'm at with this. As far as in my bees, I'm thinking about doing some more videos with Tyler as we go through the year, through the winter and into the spring and on through the season, if I can find the time. Does a great job down there, the commercial beekeeper here close by. So anyway, that's kind of what the plans are coming up. It's just been an incredible week for me. And if you go back and listen to the first part of the chat, if you didn't hear it, I'm just truly blessed. I'm so grateful for everything that is happening in my life. I look back, some of the quote we had earlier about, if you don't, kind of shoot for perfection, you'll end up with excellence. I've just, in my life, I've experienced, I haven't really reached the high pinnacle of what most of my goals were, to be honest, the highest pinnacle, but I have reached many goals and I've lived a very good life, and I've been blessed to have achieved and had a lot of tremendous experiences, because I've just never really been afraid to just give it a try. For the most part, I do have a secure thing about me. I like security, but I've been able to reach and go for a lot of goals that I could have just not tried to do because everybody told me I couldn't. So it's been a great life, and I really appreciate everyone. And I've got a lot of living to do still. So, Greg, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you to bring it on home. What you got planned up there in Ohio, and let's go ahead and close this thing out.
Awesome. Well, appreciate everyone tuning in as always. Tonight I've been able to kind of check out some of the comments where some other nights it's hard for me to keep up there. It must be the chili overdose scenario that I'm in. But anyways, what's going on here is we're just really digging in and getting all the just continue to build and dip all the expo orders. Those deadlines are coming to a close here very soon. So if you are interested in picking up some of the Endura Hive wax dipped equipment at the Bee Expo, don't wait around. Be sure to go to our website, naturesimagefarm.com. Place your order there for pickup there at the conference. We're so excited to seeing everybody there. So many fun things going to be happening at the booth. So many great folks that are going to be there working the booth, folks stopping in and out. It is always just so much fun. So we're in that mind space right now, Bruce, just building up to that, getting everything ready. And, we are a small business. We are a large family, small business, an American-made company with a limited product line, right? This is what we believe in. This is what we do. And I cannot thank you guys enough for all your support. I know you guys hear me say that a lot, but there's no way in the world that I could ever express how thankful we are, how grateful that we are for everyone's support. It's for that reason that we're here with this opportunity to come talk with you every Wednesday night, to be able to put out videos when we can, to be able to put out products like the Endura Hive wax dipped equipment. You guys are really special to us, and I just want to say thanks. You guys make all of this happen. That's what we're doing right now. As far as the bees go, we have a little bit of a warm-up coming up where we're going to have some days in the upper 40s, maybe some even the lower 50s. I'm going to try to get out there and get my queen excluders off, literally excluding my queens from the colony, the colonies. We're going to get the buckets that maybe in the feeding position, get those off, and get those kind of wrapped up, cleaned up, and man, just thanks, Brian. That's nice.
Like this, I'm just cheering you on, buddy.
Brian, right now, there's my brain. I cannot string my thoughts together at all, and I feel like I'm just like a bird dog trying to flush out the thing that I'm trying to say right now. But there's so many things I want to say and thank and talk about. But there's some great opportunities. We're going to be up in Wisconsin at a great conference there, cwbees.com, Beak Meet 2025. Bruce and Brian are speaking there. I'm speaking there. The stream team will be there as a panel with Ian Stepler, Fred Dunn, David Burns. What a great time that's going to be. We're headed to Eastern Missouri to be there with Endura Hive. We've got a couple more conferences and things that have lined up for 2025. So 2025 is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be, we may be coming to a conference or a meeting near you. So if you're interested in potentially having Endura Hive or Nature's Image at your conference, or having us there as a speaker or the stream team, don't be shy. Just, it never hurts to reach out and ask. We love sharing what we do with folks. Bees are the conduit to the people, and there's a great and bigger and better and more impactful story surrounding all of this than just making sure we get our queen excluders off at the right time. But that's what's on my list of things to do with the bees is get the rest of the fondant on everybody. I think I've got another 20 or 25 cases of fondant that I've got to get on the colonies here and treat with OA, whether that's using the Easy Ox tablets or the powder. Great products. And anyways, I could talk to you guys all night about those. If anyone wants to call and talk about those products, if you want to place an order for Hive Alive fondant, the Easy Ox oxalic acid, the Endura Hive wax dip line of equipment, naturesimagefarm.com. Shoot us a message. Happy to chat with you. Make sure all those are a good fit for you. Next week, guys, whose channel are we going to be on? Brian, I think. Is it Brian?
Well, we kind of messed up the rotation.
We switched you and me, so why don't we go Brian and then get back into the routine, or anyway, whatever you want to do. We could do you again, Greg. Whatever Brian wants to do, it doesn't matter to me.
It don't matter.
Well, I just had a short story long. Was Wednesday, the Thanksgiving one, which, you know what, I actually kind of like that. If you're listening to this, if you like the short story long platform where we just go on and talk about stuff for a long period of time, and you like kind of the format where I'm just talking to you and we bring on a couple people, if you like that, would you let me know? If so, maybe we'll keep doing things kind of like that. I kind of enjoyed that. Wasn't expecting to get on there. And one thing I'll say this, Bruce and Brian, as we close this out, as I'm waking up from chili fog, hearing Dog, the bounty hunter in the background, I'm thinking, what world am I living in? I gotta get in front of the computer. I gotta get ready for the guy. There it is. I gotta get ready for the guys. And truth be told, I was so exhausted. I felt so just, I don't know, just groggy and goofy and the whole 9 yards. And sometimes it's hard to like get here and be present and be our best for everybody. And sometimes it's a real challenge. Last Wednesday was definitely one of those. You know, Bruce was had that beautiful opportunity with the flag, with the Wylighter, and Brian was on a secret mission behind a windshield. And you know, as much as I wanted to just call it in, really, and just say, hey guys, we're just gonna have an off week. Something inside just said, just show up, just get in front of there, just do your thing. And Bruce, I got to say, some of the things that you shared, Brian, the things that you shared, and some of the comments and things that we shared with some folks during that chat period. Wow. I know why we were supposed to be there and show up, because there were some things said. There were some things shared with folks that I think were so important. And so Bruce and Brian, 3 years into doing all this, man, I just want to thank you guys too. Yeah. This still does not get old. It's always sometimes tough to get to the place where we can sit down and be our best for everybody. But one thing I never get tired of, I never get tired of doing this thing with you guys. I never get tired of doing this thing, whatever this is, with our folks who are the subscribers and the comment and the folks who make this thing awesome. You guys are incredible. I'm extremely grateful and thankful for everybody. On that note, we'll see you on somebody's channel next Wednesday, probably Brian's, 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll figure it out. Stay tuned. Make sure you go to the Facebook page if you haven't already, and check out the stream team on Facebook. We'll see you guys over there. As always, we want to remind you to be the lighthouse and be the change you want to see in this world. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.